If I were a despotic, murderous dictator known for meddling in foreign elections and had a particular chip on my shoulder against the United States because I blamed them specifically for the collapse and balkanization of my country, I would want revenge. Cold, delicious revenge. And so I would study my opponents, the United States, and figure out what their weak points were. And in my study and in my research, I would learn very early on that the United States' Achilles heel is racism. And it is because of the United States' history with racism, which is unlike any other country in the world, that their social networks, their infrastructure, pretty much everything about the country, their healthcare, their education system is not where it could be, is not on par with other highly developed nations because they don't want Black people to get ahead. I would know that based on my research because that is an objective fact. And because I am not a stupid man, I would know that the most easily manipulated group in America would be white people. And I would know, based on my research, hypothetically, that if you can just press that little racism button, most white people will be activated. Their epigenetic codes will be activated, whether they know it or not, consciously or subconsciously. All it takes is the flip of a switch to activate that long dormant fear that they have for Black people, the fear that they have for brown people, the Islamophobia, all of that. And I would know, based on my research, hypothetically, that white Americans are the largest population and therefore the most democratically consequential when it comes to voting. This would factor into my revenge plans. Now, if I were this despotic, murderous dictator, I would have a background in the KGB. I would have a background in destabling democracies. So I would know that the best way to defeat a country as powerful as the United States of America would be from the inside out, not the outside in, because I would know that I could never get past the United States of America's intelligence or military unless I was in the United States' intelligence or military. So I would have to find a way in. I would have to find one person or one group of people who was simultaneously powerful, desperate, and easy to manipulate. Where would I find someone like that in the early 90s? Maybe I should go after a real estate tycoon who was so deep in debt that no American bank would touch him with a 10-foot pole, and that way I could offer him money and imprison him to my will. And because I know that this person is himself a racist white supremacist, that would be the perfect angle to use him as the figurehead for my revenge plot. I could use that white face, I could use that white power, and I could use that white privilege to control legions of less rich, less powerful white people and destabilize the country using their Achilles heel of racism. I could make him think that I'm on his side by giving him a wife from my region of the world, further indebting him to me. Make sure that he is caught in all types of compromising positions, further indebting him to me, because blackmail is one of the most effective tools in controlling a man like that. And eventually, after so many years of giving him money when no one else will, giving him a wife when he otherwise probably wouldn't have one, and just pretending to be his friend and showering him with flattery, he becomes my puppet. And I find myself in the position of puppet master of a very rich and a very powerful and a very well-known white American man, which is the perfect framework for an American president. And because I myself have a history of rigging presidential elections to make sure that no one overthrows me, I could do the same for him. And it's just poetic justice that he keeps running against women, whether it's a white woman or whether it's a woman of color. I see, because I'm not an idiot, that the women that he runs against are leagues more qualified than he is. But see, he has a secret weapon that they don't: me. And because this is a country where white privileged men routinely beat out more intelligent, more qualified, but less privileged women and people of color, his win will have the double bonus of me having a puppet in the White House and the American people being at each other's throats because I just agitated centuries old resentments among along color lines and along gender lines, which means that not only do I have my puppet in the White House, I am effectively disintegrating the trust that the American people have in each other, the trust that American Black people have in American white people, the trust that American women have in American men. And because these are the biggest weaknesses in American history, and these are the most unstable fault lines, I can pretty much just blow this country up from the inside out, just like they did to mine. But that's not enough, because what I'm also going to do is make sure, because we all know Americans are addicted to social media, I'm going to make sure that I'm funding as many bot accounts as possible to infiltrate every single social media channel that Americans frequent, whether it's Twitter, Instagram, Facebook, TikTok, etc. And I'm going to make sure that they're putting out messages that inspire feelings of anger, feelings of rage, and most importantly, feelings of hopelessness. I want people to feel like that woman never had a chance of winning. I want people to feel like women never have a chance of winning, which is going to inspire even more anger and even more hopelessness. And because I know that the American political system was set up to promote and support racism, I know that the Electoral College exists. I know that the Electoral College favors conservative candidates. I know the Electoral College favors candidates from the South and from the far West. So I know that it doesn't matter that the American people really wanted Hillary Clinton because she won the popular vote. I'm going to count on the fact that America is both extremely racist and extremely misogynistic, and I'm going to rig the election in my puppet's favor to diminish any hope anybody ever had of a woman winning, which is going to piss the women off, which is going to sink the birth rate, which is going to put a gap between men and women so that women no longer want to be bothered with men, which is going to weaken morale and the family unit. And if I were this despotic dictator, I would try to do the same for the 2020 elections. But what I wouldn't count on was mail-in ballots. So fuck, tried to rig this one, couldn't rig this one because the mail-in ballots. But wait, I have a brilliant idea, because I'm not stopping here just because we lost this one. I am going to accuse the blue side of rigging. I'm going to say that they stole the election. I'm going to create a new chant for my base that only has one brain cell. Stop the steal, stop the steal, stop the steal. I'm going to make us look fucking insane. As if, how could you ever think that an American election could be stolen? Like, anyone who ever thinks an American election could be stolen is insane. And I'm going to plant that seed. You would have to be insane, right? You would have to be crazy. You would have to be a sore loser to believe that the Democrats stole the election in 2020. And even when they prove it in court over and over and over again that they did not steal the election, we're going to keep saying stop the steal. We're going to keep refusing to legitimize the 2020 election results, so that when the 2024 election results come in and they look sketchy and the numbers are off and the down ballots are the complete opposite of the top of the ticket, and when there's statistics and data everywhere showing that something was amiss in 2024, everybody's scared to say something now because nobody wants to look as crazy as those Republicans did in 2020. So they won't even defend their own country, because I have been committing psychological warfare for years. And this has the added bonus of turning the American people even further against each other in 2024. Now they're saying, oh, Democrats didn't get out to vote. Now they're saying Kamala was never a good candidate, when we all know, when we all saw her rally sizes, when we all saw the record turnout, when we all saw the lines wrapped around the block, when we all saw how Republicans were calling in bomb threats on the night of the election so that they had to clear out the election centers, and people never did get back in. So multiple people had to leave out of line, never got to vote. They were closing closing polling places before everybody had voted. They were burning ballot boxes. They were threatening people. They were also offering money to anybody who would vote Republican. And they were also, Trump's on stage talking about, you vote for me this time, you'll never have to vote for me again. We have a beautiful secret. And this is how we're going to win the election. I don't even need your votes anymore because I've got Elon. And despite all of that, people are still going to be scared to say, hey, I think they actually did steal the election this time, because they don't want to look crazy. And then what does this do for me as the crazy despotic foreign leader? It helps me to further divide the American people. Now talks of balkanization in America are starting to spring up everywhere. Yeah. Now people are saying if Kamala runs again, don't vote for her because she can't win, despite knowing that she won last time. But who's going to prove it? Who's going to say it? Who wants to look like the Republicans? Despite seeing how awe-inspiring and brilliant and damn near flawless her campaign was in just 107 days, people are going to start convincing themselves once again that a woman could never win. Damn sure not a woman of color, not in America. Now we need to put up another white man, which of course is going to stoke even more racialized anger, even more genderized anger, because people are going to then feel like, I don't want to see another white man. I don't want to see another man, period. Kamala deserved it. And then other people are going to be like, but Kamala didn't earn it. And then some of my bots I'm going to have pose as progressives. And I'm going to have them say all of these progressive catchphrases and then end it with, but don't vote for Kamala because she's a war criminal. And under her administration, knowing it wasn't her administration. Do you see where I'm going with this? If I were a despotic dictator who was salty about the United States of America balkanizing and collapsing my country and therefore reducing my power, I would do the exact same thing to them. And nobody would be any the wiser.